Hi, I'm Rick Conlow. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. The topic today is how to lead by example and win. Well, that's what you want to do, isn't it? See, I define leadership as influence. It's either positive or negative. And what makes it the difference, see, there's no gray there, by the way. What makes it either one or the other is how we lead by example. You either walk the talk or you don't. And your team will follow you if you do, and they won't if you won't. It's the fact of the matter. In fact, over 50% of leaders fail today because this is one of the key things they don't do. Now, when I became a supervisor, it was like overnight, boom, I had 10 direct reports, 2 different offices. It's like, wow, now what? And so I started reading and watching videos and went to some seminars, and I heard people talk about leading by example. So I wrote that down. That really sounded good. But then I had this question, what does that mean? Because they never really gave in-depth definition of what it is. They just said, do what you say you're going to do. So that's a good start. And so I did that, and make a long story short, we had some success and things worked out well in that role that I had at that time in my life. And as I became a consultant over the years, I kept tracking leading by example and organized it into 5 key behaviors with 21 action steps in those areas. So I want to define that with you. And by the way, in the description below this, there is a leading by example link for an assessment that you can go to that will help you assess yourself in these 5 areas in 21 action steps. So let's go through these 5 areas. First is caring, then commitment, communication, consistency, and caring. I'm going to define each one briefly. So caring is that you demonstrate to people that you want to help them succeed. You treat them with respect and dignity and professionalism, and they know that you believe in them. So they want to work with you. They want to help you. They want to reach goals for you as a leader. This is kind of the baseline. Because if you don't care for people, they won't go the extra mile. They won't put in that extra time. They won't, give it their heart, which is what you really need out of your team. The second area is commitment. Commitment means you follow through on your agreements or promises. So people can count on you to follow through and follow up. And this is a key role of a leader, because oftentimes, if you say you're going to do something and then you don't do it, what do people think? Well, that you lied. And that may not have been your intent, but it's how it comes across. So commitment to do what you say you're going to do is so critical here. So you got to be organized, you got to keep track of things, you got to follow up and follow through. The third area is communication. Now, all relationships at work and of course at home are built on communication. We need to communicate positively, clearly. As a leader, we got to have a goal, a vision of how we're going to work together, where we're going as a team. That's important. People need to hear that. And then we need to communicate it with passion and belief and enthusiasm. If we just go, hey, I'm all excited, people aren't going to get into that. So how we do it is as important as what we do there. And then we got to be willing to admit mistakes. We're human, so we need to be able to deal with that as well. And then consistency is about doing all these things, but it's even more. It's being true. It's being congruent. It's staying the course. It's not changing from one day to the next. It's not making this a priority A and this a priority B, and then tomorrow it's something different and it's all ambiguous. A manager that I knew of worked hard for 15 years to get the top role. And he finally got that day and he was excited and he called me about it, and boy, I was delighted for him. And then within 6 months he got fired. And the reason is there was no consistency. He kept changing everything. He had his hands in everything. He wasn't letting his team do their jobs, and he was micromanaging what was happening, and the team got demoralized. And they lost $250,000 in 6 months. That's why he lost his job. And then the 5th area is character. Character kind of pulls all these other 4 together. And character also means doing business right, ethically, honestly. These 5 behaviors are the essence of leading by example. See, do this real quickly if you will. Go like this. And I know this is a video, but do it anyway. Go like this, back and forth. There you go. Faster, faster. Put it on your chin. Now, what did you do? If you're like 85% of other people we've done this with, they put it on their cheek just like I did. You did what I did, not what I said. And that's what leading by example is all about. See, in today's world, we either lead by example or we fail. Because, everything today is under a microscope, and with social media, anything can go viral in a moment, and nothing's hidden. And so we need to be true to who we are. We need to be true. We need to practice what we preach. I believe a superstar leader models the way. And it's part of our superstar leadership model in terms of leading by example. And notice in the middle of this, you got the skills around us, the model, but inside it is trust. And that's what caring and consistency and commitment and communication and character build is, trust with our team. Nelson Mandela was a leader that led by example. Just briefly, his story, and I know you know some of it, is he spent 27 years in prison. And after he got out 4 years later, he was elected the first black president of South Africa. His presidency faced enormous challenges in the post-apartheid era. There was rampant poverty and crime and all kinds of racial tension between black and white South Africans. Now, one day, Mandela was watching a rugby game of their country's team, and the team was playing England. And he noticed that the black South Africans were cheering for the England team because most of the South African team was white players. And it epitomized the prejudice and the apartheid in that country. Mandela decided to mentor that team, and the captain of that team, Francois Pugnard. And he wanted to try to unify the team and use it as a symbol for how the country had to come together. And to make a long story short, he gained the confidence of the team, and he shared with the captain the British poem Invictus, which Mandela had read and it inspired him in prison. And Invictus is about being undefeated, unconquered, regardless of the circumstances or the challenges in front of you. And the South African team started winning, and the World Cup in 1995 was there. They won the World Cup, and the more and more they won, the more and more the team unified, and the country got behind them, and they rallied together. And that was used as a way to show, yes, this country can come together and be a great nation. That's leading by example. Now, I want to remind you that there is that leadership assessment. If you look down in the description of the program, go in there and take that and help assess your strengths and areas for improvement so you can be an even better leader. I have this vision that soars on golden wings. I visualize your achievements and your legacy that sings. I do not know all about your persistent efforts to raise the bar. I only know that you can be the best, a superstar. Remember this. If you want your team to be better, you have to be a better leader. Thanks for coming.